Welcome back. Single 40 Podcast 34 here with Glenn. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So today I was thinking this morning what we could get into and talk about, and I want to talk a little bit about the podcast with AJ from My Views, Your World.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, we've been back from our trip for about 2 weeks now, so we're settling back into the grind and the routine of getting ready to work like crazy and stay busy till the next trip, which is, in September. And so it kind of leads me into his podcast, that it's always fun, to shoot the podcast, and then, it takes a while for you to produce it and whatnot. So you kind of forget what you talked about. So it's always exciting to watch or listen to. So this morning I was on the treadmill and I was listening to it, and it was a really good podcast. He's a really good guest,
Yeah, I mean, he's just a positive guy, and it was kind of, I always think it's kind of awesome that we meet these guys that have the same kind of mindset and, similar, perspective on life in general, and these guys are, become our friends and stuff, so it was a good one.
So there's two major points that he brings up that made me happy and made me realize what we're doing is working for what we want it to do. And the first point, this isn't, us making him do that, but he had the same view as us. And when we were asking him why he created his channel and what his goals were, he talks about, making people get out of their box, as he called it. We say comfort zone, same thing. And he's obviously a guy that grew up in a city and then joined the Navy at a young age and got to see a little bit of the world through, his 20 years in the Navy. And like you said, he understood how to get a passport. And then he made a really insightful comment where he's talking about being able to maneuver in different countries and seeing how easy it is, which made him comfortable to travel, which I think is probably one of the things that holds a lot of people back from traveling abroad, is the comfort and the worry, and he said he, learned how to maneuver that way, and that's what kind of opened his eyes to traveling. And then he said he started his YouTube to show, friends back home, that try to get out of your box, as he put it. And me and you start laughing and shaking our head in the podcast, because that's what we're all about.
Yeah, at least with me, I had a GoPro, whatever, our first trip, and it was me trying to show, the islands we go to, to Boracay or wherever we're at, and obviously kind of evolved into our partying in Angeles, and it's it's the same kind of mindset. We wanted to show people, our friends back home. I wanted to show family and people that you could go to the Philippines on a decent budget and have a great vacation. So no, his what he's doing is great. So,
and there's so many people that need it in their life, but they just don't know it, right? We didn't know it, and I would understand traveling's not for everybody, but I think majority of people that have never traveled to other countries, if they do try it, I think it will open up that door for them, and it will motivate them, because it does for so many people. When you talk to them, it's just so hard to get people out of that box or out of their comfort zone. I'm not going to call people out by names, but I could give you a list of friends from back home that I'm always trying to get to come with us, and for whatever reason, life's busy, I get it, and they got things going on, and they always say, oh yeah, someday, and they don't ever come, and you just know in your heart, God, if I could get this one guy to come, it would be life-changing for them. And you can't force people to do shit, but you want them to experience, the joy and the freedom that you've, got from it. And there's no way to explain it without taking them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even for me, I remember when you came back on that first trip you went on.
You were one of them.
I was definitely one of them. I was like, dude, that's a long flight. Oh my God, I don't know if I have the money to do it. It was just, everyone always just looks for excuses, right? And you just, if it's not something you really want to do, it's just like anything, right? I'll do it later. I'll pass it off. And, people want to travel. It sounds good, but when you have to get a passport and you have to save money, people, it's too hard. So, but I think that's what we're trying to do with these videos, this podcast, whatever the hell we're doing. It's just trying to give information, show people that, you can have a good time. So.
No, that's totally it, and that's always been, part of our mission statement and why we do it. And hopefully, somebody watches the podcast someday and, gets motivated to do it. And like we talked about last week, the podcast is not out yet. It will probably come out this week. just the people we met on our last trip that have seen our channel, and most of those people already traveled without, like, we haven't came across somebody that said, you guys motivated me to travel yet. But I mean, hopefully that happens someday. And if it doesn't, whatever. But, you know, we met a lot of people that were like, yeah, we saw your stuff and wanted to party with you guys. So that was cool. But yeah, I don't know how you push people into it. And something me and Glenn always talk about is time, and how fast time is flying by for us. I mean, you know, just looking over the last 30 years, how quickly, you know, shit has gone by. And it's like, you only have a small window for this. And some of it's financial, some of it's health and age. And, you know, then there's all the other responsibilities in life, you know?
Yeah. I mean, just these last 2 weeks since we've been back, like, I don't know about you, but this week flew by. Last week was pretty quick. And I don't know, I just keep looking at it like, you know, the people that, you know, are waiting. It's like, what are you waiting for? You know, because like you said, once you know, something happens in your life, or you can't do it, or, you know, if you have the opportunity to do it now, it's like, well, what do you
gotta go? I mean, there are some unfortunate things that can happen to people, like, you know, health issues that can actually make it where you can't. And I mean, God willing, hopefully that never happens to like us, or anybody, you know. But outside of that, it's like everything else is just an excuse. Time, money, can't get away. Like, those are all excuses, you know, like.
Yeah, no, and it kind of goes hand in hand with just kind of like the experience of what we've been doing over the last year, making these videos, especially like our party videos, right? I've just, when you go through the comments and you kind of see, it's like, I don't understand how people could be negative, right? I mean, you don't have much time. It's like there's no time for that shit. So it's just one of those things where I always have a hard time just like, dude, like, how can you be negative, man? It's like, doesn't matter. Like, you have to, it's just something that I will never pretty much understand.
Well, that, I mean, it goes into like a circle, if you will. Like, negativity, excuses are part of negativity. So it's like the whole mindset thing. You can always come back to mindset. Like, if you have a negative mindset, or you have the mindset of you can't do this because of an excuse, like, it's negative, right? Like, the mindset of positively thinking like, I can get this done, or I can figure it out, is the key to that success. And I'm looking across our studio, and we have a poster up that says discipline equals freedom. And that's a saying by Jocko Willink, who's, you know, an author. He does a bunch of other things, ex-Navy SEAL, a guy that I like to follow his content. And just that discipline equals freedom thing, it changed my life when I started, you know, listening to this guy's stuff and I read his book. Because it's so true. Like, when you want to get something done, whatever that is, you know, from fitness to making more money to spending more time with your family, whatever, like, you have to set up that discipline to be able to create those events in your life, or to create whatever you're trying to get at. And it's through consistency, right? And you have to have the positive mindset of like, this is what I want to do, or this is what I need to do, or this is what I got to get done, or this is where I want to go. And you got to set up, you know, disciplines around that to get there. And I think that's why when you're talking about negativity, I think they go like hand in hand.
Yeah, no, I mean, just like you're talking about, like the discipline part. I mean, for everyone, it's different, right? At least for me, like, you know, the health-wise, getting better shape, I mean, was a direct result of traveling, because I, you know, obviously want to be healthy when we travel. And then when you realize, like, with discipline, with money, you know, it goes hand in hand. And it's hard to get that mindset to people, but I mean, hopefully, you know, if you're listening to this, or.
And like you said, it's different for everybody. So if you're sitting there thinking, I can't travel, and you come up with a list of excuses, like, you got to just start picking them off one by one. Like, I'll give you an example of one that comes to mind. Like, somebody that owns their own business, right? An entrepreneur. And when you own your own business and you're an entrepreneur, it's really hard to get away, right? Which I get. So what you have to do is create the discipline of, you know, whatever it might be, from building a team around you, or creating a backup for your position, or however you got to do it, like, so you could get away from whatever business or entrepreneurship endeavor you're in, and then eventually take, you know, 2 weeks off. Like, but it has to start with the positive mindset of, I can do that. Like, I have to set up that goal. And that's just one, you know, off the top of my head example. I mean, there's childcare, right? Like, I got young kids. Maybe I can't travel because of that. It's like, okay, you know, bring your kids with you. I can't afford it. Okay, set up a savings plan to become disciplined, or, you know, find the right type of childcare, because you can't find it in your area. It's like, well, fly in a family member. Like, there's always a path. You just have to stop thinking of it as an excuse and think of it as a challenge and then beat it, right?
No, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's one of those things too where people, it's like once you do something that's positive and you work towards that goal, like it gets easier. And like at least with me, I mean, once I set a plan and then we started doing these trips, it's like it became an easier thing for me to get done, and then the end result was these vacations. So
No, it's definitely something to work towards, right? And having the light at the end of the tunnel, because anything you want to get is literally just on the other side of consistency and hard work or discipline. Like whatever you want in life, whatever you need to do, it's reachable. It's just on the other side of doing stuff you don't want to do, right?
yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And that's why the whole positive mindset, I mean, we can keep talking about this, fuck it. Like, I think back is me and Glenn had a teammate in college, David Butterworth. I will call him out by name. What's up, Butter? I don't know if you watch these, but you're the man. He was an interesting dude because he was a 2-sport athlete in college, and this is at UC Davis. It was Division II, which Division II is obviously not Division I, but anybody that played any kind of college sport realizes if you're a 2-sport athlete, like that's not easy.
Yeah, you're special
at the college level, right? Because you got school and college sports is a job. I don't care what level you're at, D1, D2, like D3. It's all a job. Like it's a lot of work. So this guy, he was a baseball player and a football player, and he used to always had this term PMA. And back then, I used to laugh at him for it, and it was positive mental attitude. And as I got older, looking back on it, it's like that's why the guy was able to do everything he did, because everything wasn't an excuse, it wasn't negative, it was always like I can do this. He was always positive.
One of the most positive person I've ever met in my life. Like he was just always a go-lucky, happy, positive guy, and yeah.
And so he lived down the street from me and Glenn when we were in college. And I always remember coming out of my room in the morning. When I say morning, it's 10 a.m., 11, sleeping in. And that dude's at our kitchen table studying,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
It's oh, why'd you come down here to do it? Oh, I was bored, just wanted to come hang out with you guys. That type of shit, right? Just always so positive. And
I wonder what that guy's up to. We haven't talked to him.
I haven't talked to him in a while. I should probably give him a call. And I think I told him about the podcast and the channel. I don't think we've spoke since, but God, I would love to have that guy on as a guest. Fuck, that would be so fun. And whatever he's up to, it's working. I guarantee that because of his mindset and his positivity.
Yeah, and going back to positivity, it's just I was looking through the comments on this morning before I came over here, just on the last podcast, and it's awesome. It's great to see the comments, people that are positive about whatever the channel and the content that we have. So
well, AJ's got that infectious positivity, and he's super authentic, and that's why I think his channel will do well. And I think that's why this podcast with him, we woke up to 27 messages or something or comments, and all of them positive,
Yeah.
And that's because of him and because of who he is, and it was cool. And you could tell in the podcast at the beginning he was a little bit nervous because it's nothing he'd ever did. And then as we kept talking, he got more and more comfortable, and you kind of saw himself come out, and just a great positive guy that's living his best life, if you will. So, that I don't know. I love that podcast. I listened to it this morning. I'm like, this thing was badass.
Yeah, it's always good to get to know someone. Obviously, he had through social media, we chatted with him or whatever, and then got to meet him, and I didn't know he was in the military and he was retired and he did just 20 years. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
no, living over there and going to travel throughout Southeast Asia and make content about it and just having a great time.
Yeah, and also one of the comments that someone said was they wanted to hear more about the people that work there and their perspective, and good or bad, and it's just it's good. It's a good idea because I think we get all these different guests and different people. It's always great to hear different stories. No,
I'm fucking so glad you brought that up. I totally forgot. I responded to that comment this morning, and I was not thinking about it today for this podcast. But no, I wish more people would give us feedback like that of things they'd like to hear. Thank you for that comment. I've told him to check out the MC Vaughn podcast because she's somebody that works there. So we have done that. And you do get to hear her whole life perspective. I think it was episode 12, maybe?
Yeah, it was early on.
So the commenter, I told him to check that one out. But I told him, that's a great idea. And we need to focus on getting some more. We had Ann on who works as a waitress at a restaurant in that area, and she obviously is a content creator. But no, I think we should try to get more people that work in that area or live there. Work in the area is what I guess is what the guy was talking about, and I think that's what we should definitely try to do.
And like before the podcast, we had done just a basic interview type thing with our friend Adrian, so it's always good to hear. That guy's been there for years, and
that's another one. Yeah,
he's been around. So
it wasn't it was like our unofficial first podcast.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing. We just had I don't even think maybe. Yeah, we just winged it. I think we were like, let's interview Adrian, dude. You guys been...
Yeah, we sat by the pool up on top of Fields Hotel and just interviewed him, and it wasn't in the podcast setting, with microphones and headsets and all that. So we should probably do one with him again. And he's worked on Walking Street for decades selling T-shirts. And there is somewhat of a language barrier with some of them. Like some of the Angels, I've thought about, we got to bring some of them. People are just shy for this experience because they think it's I don't know, they think it's so...
Well, it's too formal, I guess.
Formal, that's the word I'm thinking of. I was going to say professional, but it's we're not fucking professional. But it's super formal, right?
Well, it's overwhelming with the light, the mics. But, I was overwhelmed when we were doing this, and now it's I don't give a fuck what I say.
Yeah, no. Myself included, the first one, it's just kind of whoa, what are we doing? But, yeah, you just get comfortable. And, AJ, you see he's a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning because it's, nothing he's ever done. It's back to the same thing we're talking about, getting out of your comfort zone, right?
No, that's it.
It's the same thing. And then once you do it once, it's simple, and it's just a conversation. It's just like you said, formal with the cameras and the lights and the headphones and the mic, so it kind of intimidates you. But when you just start talking and you forget about all the shit around you, the cameras and all that, it's then you're just having a fucking conversation.
Yeah, for me, it's I look forward to this. We obviously do it once a week. When we have free time, and it's whatever we're talking about doesn't matter as long as it's about the Philippines, traveling and getting out of your comfort zone, meeting cool people. It doesn't matter.
So our pre-production is me and Glenn setting up the camera. Glenn sets up the cameras and the lights. I kind of help him with the microphones, and then it's what do you want to talk about today? That's our pre-production.
Yeah, and I was thinking about driving over here, and I'm I want to talk about AJ because that's fucking awesome. I literally posted it, and I sorry, got it. It was late, but the trip kind of came and went, and obviously last week was anyways. But yeah, and then it's you get it out there, and it's people watched it. It was kind of awesome, and people had positive feedback, and AJ hit us up, was thanks, and no, it's cool. And
that's the point I'm getting at. It's not as formal as people think. Like I said, me and Glenn literally talk for less than 30 seconds before we start about what we're going to talk about. We just kind of say what's on our mind, and he was thinking about AJ, I was thinking about AJ, and so here we are talking about it. And even with a guest like him, it's we don't ever have a plan. And I tell people that don't even worry about it. It's just a conversation.
Yeah.
I'll probably ask you where you're from and how you got into this, and that's the only loaded question that you'll get from me. And then it's then you start talking, and then we just start fucking talking, asking questions about. With AJ, we started talking about YouTube and shorts and our experience on trying to get more people, and he seemed interested in that, and we talked about that. So it's so informal.
Yeah. And he's going to be traveling all over Southeast Asia, so it's going to be next time we catch up with him, he's going to have a lot more to talk about. And that was even cool. He's never been to Thailand, so it'll be awesome to hear his experience over there. Yeah,
he said Thailand November, Japan in September. So the second thing I wanted to get in about AJ, towards the end of the podcast, he made the comment that watching our content made him, I forget exactly how he put it, but he basically said it, it showed him how to live again, I think is what he said.
That's right.
And his point was, he lived in Okinawa on a duty station for the Navy, and I guess there's a lot of lockdowns there depending on what's going on, and then the whole COVID thing. And like anybody in life, I think he probably, like us, got into work and just the mundane lifestyle of you just do nothing but work and your basic necessities, whatever they are, shopping, maybe you work out, whatever it is, and you stop seeking fun or seeking enjoyment, and is that travel, is that partying, whatever. And he said we kind of showed him to go have fun again, which was the best fucking thing I could hear, because we always talk about that too with the whole travel thing. It's not just the travel side of it, it's showing our nightlife side of it is how it doesn't matter how old you are, go out and have fun. So for me, that was really cool to hear him say that.
Yeah, it was surprising because it was it was a good compliment for us, right? And if we could do that or help someone, or even if it's just watching the video and partying and what, I want to do that. That's pretty cool.
Well, because most people, they have, I hate using the term partying because drinking or drugs or whatever you want to put around it, it doesn't have to be that, but you do have that element when you're young where you live more carefree and you go out and do things like that, and people get away from it as they get older, you know, because of marriage and kids and work, which totally understandable. And I understand everybody grows up and becomes responsible, as you should, but it doesn't mean you can't go on vacation once a year and like cut loose and have a good time, right?
No, definitely.
And that's one of the parts of our travels that, you know, opened up our eyes to like, dude, we don't gotta act like we're 40, like we can still have fun. And then that always takes me back to that one comment about Matt. The guy was like he was talking shit about the first Matt Monster podcast, and he's like, you know, you're 40, but you go to the Philippines and act like a child, and it's like, fuck, you're damn right we do. Like,
yeah, I mean,
we act like we're 20 for a night. Like,
and that's what
what's
Matt
the harm
loves,
in that?
Matt loves doing that. Like, fucking, I mean, we all do, but yeah, Matt definitely, you know, cuts loose. I mean, he grinds just like us. Like, he does what he has to do to get there, and that's what's like great about, like, you know, the group of people that we're with, right? It's everyone has these experiences, and it's like it's all different. Like, I mean, I know when I go to the Philippines, like, I sleep more, I get better fucking rest, because like I'll get massages, like, you know, you eat good, like, I don't know, everyone's experience is different when you travel. So,
well, I think traveling opens up those doors, because no matter what, people want to have a good time. Like, I mean, there might be a small group of people that don't, but majority of humans, you know, in the world want to have a good time. And as you get older, those times get more limited, right? And so I think the things like, as you become an adult, that you do that provide that experience, like a wedding or like a work event that, you know, has, you know, alcohol element to it. It's like people still have those types of fun, but it's just limited to, you know, those types of events. And people, I mean, I get it. If you're sitting in the U.S. and you're, you know, in your 40s, married, whatever, and you're not going to go out to the local bar where there's a bunch of 20-year-olds partying. I get it, right? Like, I don't want to do that shit either, and that's why we don't do it here. But if you're traveling to places where there's a lot of tourism, you know, call it Thailand, call it the Philippines, like, there's people of all ages, all races, all genders out doing that. And that's kind of like what you can recapture is going to a nightclub or going to a bar and like having that type of fun that you might not have in your life anymore.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's definitely, I mean, I look forward to that stuff because we don't do it here, you know. So when we're on vacation and we, you know, it's all good times.
So the rest of that, when AJ's in that, you know, part where he's talking about it, he talks about then when he moves to Angeles City, and he said he got reborn. Like, he said he was out at the club and he started dancing and like having a good time. And, you know, he hadn't done that in a long time in his life. And he said it was like a rebirth, which was great to hear, because it's like, yeah, dude, you can have fun. AJ's 42 and he's single and he just moved there. So obviously he said he went out a lot at the beginning and he had to like scale that back, which, yeah, be responsible. But he said just having that option and availability and then, you know, going through it and being reborn again, it was like, yeah, I can go out and have fun. And it was really good to hear, because that's what we're trying to press.
No, that's it, man. And yeah, I mean, even before like one of like my first trip, like that whole element of, you know, enjoying yourself, it was definitely non-existent, you know, because the grind of work, trying to, you know, whatever, you know, my goals at that time were different. You know, I wanted to buy something, a house, or like, you know what I mean? So it's like you just have this, you never think about, you know, oh, traveling or, you know, having a good time. So, but now that we're doing it, it's like I don't want to live any other way.
Well, I think back on like mine and yours past, and obviously we had a lot of fun when we were young, and then we all, you know, went into the work world, did our own things. But like something I thought about, like when we went to Christian's wedding, our friend Christian got married in New Orleans, and me and Glenn, you know, were single, and one of our friends, Rich, was single, and the three of us, you know, got an apartment, like an Airbnb right on, God, what's that area in New Orleans? Bourbon Street,
yeah,
right?
Okay, I do remember
And
that.
it was like a destination wedding in New Orleans. I was living in Hawaii. Glenn was living in LA at the time. This is like just right when I moved to Hawaii. And I flew to LA, me and Glenn met up, and then, you know, flew to New Orleans, and Rich met us there. And we had like, I don't know how many days we were there, like maybe a little less than a week, but we had a lot of fun. Like, we were hitting Bourbon Street, and we had an apartment, and like there was a couple events for the wedding, and it was like, I felt young again, and that was a great time. But then after that, you go back to your life, and it was like back to like boringness.
No, I do remember that. Yeah, no, it was definitely a great time. But I do remember thinking like, I don't ever do that, and it was like a special occasion. And I mean, it's a lot different too when you don't have the funds to do stuff. But yeah, no.
Well, yeah, back then we were broke,
yeah,
and that's why we all were like
pitched in, and
you know,
we were in that.
We had like a 1-bedroom apartment, like one of us on the floor, one was on a
Yeah.
couch, one got the bed. Like, yeah, we definitely didn't have the financial stability we have now, but we still made it work.
Yeah.
And it was still a great fucking time.
And you could do that if you go travel to Southeast Asia with buddies or people, it's, I don't know.
Those are the only events that people look forward to and have in their life. And I mean, that's all we had at the time. And that was long before we traveled, right? And we hadn't opened that door for ourselves yet. And I remember when we first started traveling, kind of remembering that trip. Like that was like the last time I had fun. Like after the first time we went to the Philippines together, I looked back on that trip and was like, we haven't had fun since we were in New Orleans, whatever that was, 5 or 6 years before.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So yeah, that kind of wraps up the stuff about the AJ podcast I want to talk about. So yeah, that was amazing to re-listen to it and hear what he had to say. And love it. Fucking love it. No,
it's always great. I mean, especially because I just made that video with the night out, right, at Onana Bar, and that's what gets me going. Looking back at all this footage that we have, and it's just like keeps me motivated to travel. So
keep going
and
keep making it count.
I think it was something too, like just to think about and obviously bring up is like, on that same trip we ended up going to Boracay with the big group, right? And it's on our other channel, Passport Ready, and I'm about to put a video out, and I mean it's just, it doesn't necessarily have to just be partying, right?
No, yeah, 100%.
That travel with that big group, and I mean it was one of those experiences you just don't ever get, right? So I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to go party in Manila or the Philippines. You could do other stuff, and it's the same thing. It's like, as long as you have fun and you enjoy it, man, you try to find a way to do it.
No, it's definitely very positive experiences, meeting people, traveling, doing different things. And like you said, nightclubs, bars, it's not for everybody. Totally get it. But the Boracay trip's a great example. It's like snorkeling, eating, fresh-ass seafood on the beach, traveling around with friends, like meeting the people that worked at those places, the crew that we have over there. Like, yeah, it all goes in hand, right?
No, it's it. And I mean, through our travels, we met, Andrew over at My Philippines channel, and his YouTube channel's, blowing up off of one video. So
yeah, God, anybody watching this, if you want to get a very great look at Manila and the cost of maneuvering around Manila and some of the, really cool things to see there, go to My Philippines channel. It's a new channel of a friend of ours, and it's awesome. Check it out. He's vlogging, but it's a different level of vlog. There's a ton of information, and it keeps you engaged. It's really well done. So check that out. We'll put it, when we put this podcast out, we'll put AJ's link again, and then we'll put the link to that.
Yeah, he's got something going over with that, with the information, especially. It's a lot of stuff that vlogs or people try to talk about, but they just pinpoint one thing. It kind of goes over like multiple stuff and how to get around and where to go, and
yeah, and he's going to be a podcast guest once we get back over there in September, so we'll get more into depth with him. But he's got a really cool vision on how he's trying to create it, and that's what he said, is like most vloggers, it's basically about their personal experience, which is fine, and it's good to see, but there's a lot of that same stuff out there. And somebody travels somewhere, like we've been watching vlogs on Vietnam because that's where we're going to go next, and there's some good ones and there's some ones I didn't like, but for the most part it's like just that person's trip, and they just give you the experience of the things they did, which is good because you can pick up things to do. But like the difference between Andrew is like he shows you in Manila like every form of travel, from a motorcycle taxi to a trike to the train to the bus to limousines to taxis. Like he gives you every single option and price for maneuvering around that city, where a traditional vlogger will just show you what they did, which is informative, of course, but like he gives you every bit of information. And he's going to make a bunch of different videos. I think Boracay's next, and then he's doing a Bohol one. So when you watch his videos, you can see every option you have for maneuvering around these places, which is, I haven't seen many vlogs like that.
It's more of like no one watches TV anymore, but it's a TV show. Like
it's a TV show disguised as a vlog.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, and I'm excited to see what he does.
And I cannot wait to have him as a podcast guest.
Yeah, no, it's always good and see his perspective, his story. So
yeah, smart guy. Been living in the Philippines for years. He grew up in England, but half Filipino, half British, and very dynamic dude. Well, no, I think today has been good. We got to talk about some cool shit.
Yeah, no, it's always good. I mean, always look forward to these. I mean, basically, like you said, we just kind of wing it. But we do have a kind of a plan, but it's always good.
We have one topic and then we run with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the comments, like please, ideas and keep it coming. Like the guy that wanted us to interview more people that work on Walking Street, we'll make that a priority and try to get, you know, some of the girls that work there. I mean, we know some bouncers, we know some DJs, like, so we'll get some other perspectives and get some people on the podcast, definitely. So anything you guys want to hear us talk about or cover, please let us know.
Yeah, and I'll try to work on more of that partying our first night and the mega dance stuff that we did. It's a slow process, but we'll get it out.
Definitely. All right, guys, thanks for watching.
All right, thank you.